Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 7th of July. Hope everyone's going to have a great weekend. This is slightly before, so market ends. And nice day. No problem. Still, yeah, we are overbought. Clearly now we're in the positive extreme, so we're pushing the envelope a little bit. There's just no shorts adding into this setup at this particular point to cause any grief. And so this is the nice thing that we see. When we see that we've reached a positive extreme, it's in this particular case, there just aren't many short sellers adding into that volume. So it's a slow up carry. We do have the dip of the steel below cyan. That's going to probably put a little bit of pressure for downside, but you're well below red white here with the cyan. That's very positive, and you have green nicely above, and didn't form a sharp pivot like you normally get, like back over here, and that which usually signals a little bit more extended. You get that sharp peak, you usually get a little bit more extended down push, and so we're just seeing kind of a flat line there. So those are healthy signs. If we go back to the daily, we were looking at that Star Hawk that came in there with the ATR that this was at. It was about 14, so that's going to need almost 19 or 20 points. So from 65, somewhere around just about shy of 85 would be the sell target on that one going there. If we look at our 50K, just continues. Now 1965 on an upside move. And so if we take a look at the performance report for that, well, that's periodic return. Obviously, we're right at equity highs. We had a tiny little move, and so we're going to be shooting up here. If we look at the general summary, it's plus 31. So could get us pretty close to 200 or right in that range the next month or so. We could be pretty close to on target. I don't know that we'll quite get. I mean, there's still plenty of time, so we'll have to see how it goes. A little more choppy market might be beneficial to see that number match last year's as well. So again, all good stuff. No objections to any of that. We can look at the intraday. Started off not too bad. I mean, came in through here. What do we got on here? I think we've got C on this one, yeah. In the regular version of A and that, you'll see the deep red as it came through. And then it was just a nice general. We had plenty of what we would call the cyan dots here. These are all reflecting pivots to let you know which ones are improving in that. And so even here, going from minus 322, we had a higher pivot going up there, which then proceeded to make nice moves. We ended up with that steel way south down here, so it was all in the safety zone throughout. Just this, kind of gentle muck. We ended up getting a little bit back down to an eased position, and then it broke out right in there until it ended the day. And starting in the after hours, a little bit of a pullback, and that's what we were seeing from the daily. Nothing exceedingly dramatic. The stronger one of all of them had been the NQ and performed very well. Nice. A little bit extended there with the green. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. Once we get the pivot back on that, you're going to see a little bit of weakness. Didn't quite get the steel below the sign, so it's a little bit better of a help. If the steel had dipped below, and then you get a pivot, if that happens simultaneously, then you're going to see a bit more of a pullback and probably end up retracing this low very quickly. So that's something to look for from an intraday, at least pullback. We knew it was a little early on the red dot with the nice rising red white here from the YM as well, and then also with the cyan below red white, though that pivoted up a little bit and then you get a straight move. Now if that one continues down with the steel directly, then we're likely to see some of that start to retrace a little faster. Definitely be watching that one because I will be looking to buy the put for a much larger down target here now, because now we start to see a little bit better move. But you definitely have to see green coming back down and cyan getting back above. Otherwise, this can just take a slow bleed and continue higher. So we just wait for the signals as they come. TLT sell signal proved to be rather accurate. It takes out all of those previous moves. In fact, goes all the way back. Well, this had already been met. So we're then looking at positive extremes from over here. Those have been taken out as well. So all in all, healthy from that standpoint, and no surprise on the sell signal that was derived there. GLD, little bit of a pullback within that setup there. You actually did get cyan above green and almost right there above the red at 729 is just a fraction above. So could exacerbate the weakness just a fraction on there. But overall, with it in the safety zone, you did get red-white below, so it is something that I would be trading right around the yellow ABM. When you're above, staying with it; below, not being involved in it. Just a prudent way to go on there. And the euro, nice pullback overall from the euro. It's maintained that sell signal from even the cyan being well above. Breakdown of the green here, no change in it, and it's pulled back, starting to make cyan candles. That could be the beginning of what is possibility of a reversal, but not quite there yet. Let's see, we retraced that positive extreme some time back ago, but it's just getting back to there's really no set need for it to pull back to any specific spot, at least at this point, because there's no real call for a retest of a low or anything like that. So in this particular case, as long as sell signals involved, you have to go with it. You would need to see that steel though dip down below and get below the green before you would expect to turn around. It's like a nice 4th of July gift for being in Europe here. AIG, yeah, it's been improving with the little setup there, but we've seen some weakness here with the steel dip below, even though cyan still above, and potential is now that cyan dips below the red and white, and that would extend the upside move. And X put in the crossover, did an immediate spider right at the open. Still exposed a little weakness. What we would now have to see to initiate, I mean, you're obviously in still positive extreme. I would look for the earliest turnaround on intraday, and that's where I would be thinking to buy put, and now have at least the lows right there, and actually going back all the way to here of 25.69. So it's a pretty decent enough range to where it becomes worthwhile to look at it. And CLF, continuing that slow rise of the red, the green popped right above it. At the same time, you had the up move from steel, so that happened first thing, and continued right off from the target, straight up from there. Now it did get overbought, so we can see a lot more of the individual stocks getting into that overbought category. And WLT returning back, everyone thought it was dead at 420. We had those wonderful buy signals that popped in there, and we've been getting a bunch of additional ones as we've been going through. And here it is all the way back to 630. That's what they love to do because they can play a longer game than most people are willing to accept, and they can really push a lot of these individual stocks to do things that seem a little bit more extreme. You can't really do that in the market because there's just a lot more liquidity to it. But when you get into some of these smaller stocks, it's a lot easier to manipulate. So you have to have a little bit broader time horizon with some of them. That can also take place when you're dealing with some of these alert stocks in particular. Let's go to Apple first and take a look there. We had been seeing the nice little buys, just been a nice soft little continued run. Cyan well below the red white. No issues with that. It's just nothing parabolic with the setup. Now that we actually have steel moving back down here, it'll be interesting to see if we can get a green to come back around and give a new pop-up buy setup. But continue to rise. It's got a little ways to go. You need to see that red continue up. Well, let's go to Amazon. It had broken out of a doldrum a little while back over here. Continued that move. No shock with that. That's fairly straightforward. Baidu, likewise, ABM following with those numbers. All pretty good, and for the most part, these have been very clean signals and just continue to rise fast as long as it's continuing to do well. Is getting to a little overbought there, but you still have that nice rising red. It's taking out the previous highs. So far, so good. Positive from those elements. Facebook expanded with the weakness, and it continued with that weakness even in the up market because you had that cyan moving right above the green. You had already flipped into a previous sell right over here as the red dipped below the white, coming over into the beginning of that next day. So it was a triple whammy of buyers all fleeing at the same time. looking for new opportunities. Gentle rise of Google has been consistent, though, now with the cyan popping above both red, white, and green all at the same time. You're still in the safety zone, but that would be trouble area. I would be moving the stop up even above where the yellow is at this particular point on that. I know it's interesting with as much bullishness to have some of these that are expressing a little bit of weakness early, and that's typically how it happens. They've taken their small move with those, and here's a nice one, Netflix, just from the beginning of time, no real change. You had a potential little weakness with the dip below, and it kind of gave that, and that's okay because you're still rising red, so making higher peaks there. The key will be watching that sign and see if it shoots up, but overall, no objections there. PCLN had created a big move before, a little bit of softness from it, not too big a shock. Wasn't that ugly, though. You've got now right at a vortex spot here with the cyan move above red. It's not above green yet. Green's still controlling with being on the top, so that'll be a key one to begin Monday. Let's see where that plays out. Easy to watch the intraday alerts as they come in here. Tesla, we had seen the sell come through from right there, and it continues, no change. And it's a pretty good cascade lower. Yeah, you're still in the safety zone, but again, it's one of those where we expected a dip down towards this 221. Potential was all the way down here, but within the safety zone, I wasn't expecting it to come to the lower one. We were just looking for right around that 221. What was the low anyway? 224. So just shy of that. That's 221.89 range. If we actually look at what the oops, I didn't mean to grab that. I was just looking for the price. One of the open right there was at 224.11 as opposed to the low, which is a little bit higher. And in fact, that would have met to that open. So it's always interesting to see those relationships. And then the Twitter was the final one we had looked at. A little modest weakness there, but still overall nice trend run, looks good. So there you have it. It's really been quite easy so far, though we do see now that with this little bit of a push, you may get a little bit of that euphoria that has resulted in a little bit of the holiday volume, and you tend to pay the price for those a little bit down the road. So we'll see as soon as that starts to flip. We want to be prepared to jump on a little bit of a put for pull back into that normal range, and when that happens, we will be all set for it. Nothing too dramatic, so as long as there's no major event during the holiday here, everyone, I hope you have a great time, and we will continue to talk again at the beginning of the week and start to explore a couple of different models that I've been working on within some of these setups. So good stuff on the horizon. As always, trade well.